The Pokemon Scarlet and Violet map is my everything right now. I am obsessed with it because when we get the reveal, it's going to tell us more about the games than anything else. And we already have so much to work with. It is crazy. So that is what we're going to be breaking down in today's video. If you enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, and check out my new affiliate, Mountain Ops. For almost 2 years, this has been my go-to energy, and it is the best brand I have found. I am an energy fiend. I consider myself a caffeine enthusiast, and this gives me everything I want. Focus, energy, hydration, long-lasting energy, cardiovascular, mental focus, clarity. That's really good. Like, when I'm making videos, I'm grinding out. Like, remember when I played Pokemon Unite for like 3 days straight? I was putting out multiple guides and gameplay and breakdowns, and it seemed like an impossible amount of content. Same thing with whenever I go into a Pokemon game. So whenever I'm making an impossible amount of content, even this video right here, it's always fueled by some kind of energy powder, and this is the good stuff. Also, tastes amazing. The blue raspberry lemonade, the pink lemonade, that is what I go to. But if you find any flavor you like, you should give it a shot. But they're not just limited to energy powders. We have protein drinks as well. So if you're running low on your protein powder, try out Mountain Ops. Tell me what you think. If you're already using it, click on my link below. Switch over to that for the affiliate. That'd be pretty cool. And not just limited to that, also have all kinds of gear and apparel. And it's for a good cause. 1 meal is donated to a child in need for every purchase made at Mountain Ops, and 1% of sales goes to wildlife conservation. It's a great brand. They make great products. I've been using them for almost 2 years now before the affiliate, so I'm happy to have that. Go and check it out with the link in description. But back to the map. So, yeah, like, this is from the first trailer, this is from the first trailer, pieced together, Iberian Peninsula makes sense. This has spawned a lot of fake leaks, and as I've broken down in the past, a lot of fake leaks are just taking obscure information and tying it together into something that sounds plausible. This came out as obviously fake and not a leak, because that's literally all of them, but it still gives us an informed idea as to what could be going on here. A lot of the terrain is kind of made up and fudged, but it's still interesting, especially when we take it with the trailers, with the gameplay we've already seen, and just the overall open world idea. And I think that's where it comes together. That instead of the wild area, and instead of Dynamax dens, it's just going to be all of the exploration, everything available in the game as an open world adventure. That's going to be the gimmick, which is why we gotta wait to get all that information, but it's going to be pretty cool. You can experience a new style of adventure with a world that you're free to explore at your leisure, but we knew this since February. Explore freely in a richly expressed open world, and the way they keep reiterating it gives me confidence of how insane it's going to be, and it all ties back into the map. So you're not dictated by the story, you can make your discoveries, meet a variety of people in Pokemon, and adventure in the world of Pokemon the way you want to. So I have to know how that interacts with the map. Alright, so now we can break down the map and talk about what I'm obsessed with. So this Darkened Area, it's just going to be speculation, but it seems to be pretty accurate, at least for the shape, because it lines up with the Iberian Peninsula. It's also kind of similar to the map that we saw in the first trailer in the office, but all of this, we actually see it inside of the trailers, and it really opens up some crazy stuff. But the reason why I'm so big on, like, yo, the next Pokemon Direct needs to reveal the map is because we don't have the map. We had the Alola region, we had the Galar region, and then we could see crazy details inside of that, like individual houses in the city, little landmarks and areas that when you actually get your hands on the game, you explore it and go, yeah, that little island is actually a part of the game and all of the other things. Now, some of it wasn't accessible, like this, that was mostly just for the totem wishy-washy, but you couldn't explore all of that. The golf course, that really wasn't a thing, but it ended up meaning something for the Elite Four. We even had, like, the Isle of Plenty, or Isle of Beans over there, too. So, some weird stuff. That looked like some kind of really, like, gate-kept, guarded area. It just ended up being Team Skull's base, not really having, like, any major gym representation, but at this time, we didn't know that there weren't going to be gyms. So, all kinds of stuff, some of it significant, some of it not. That house for Mimikyu ended up being a totem area. Alright, and then you can kind of see all the geography and all the little details, and then not much going on with this island over here. Pokemon Sword and Shield. We got the announcement. This was February. This was a part of the first drop before we knew anything. We didn't even have any new Pokemon from Generation 8 except for the starters, but we could actually see every detail. We can see and confirm gyms inside of Generation 8, so no more Generation 7 Alolan shenanigans, wild area thing that we didn't know existed, and then we could see how large the region was going to be and how detailed the environment is. So that's like my main obsession is like, okay, this tells us a couple of things, but it's nowhere close. So like, how's this going to relate to the towns, the landmarks? What are the little nooks and crannies going to tell us when we get that full map reveal? That is what I'm most excited about for the next Pokemon reveal, but like no Pokemon Direct announcement yet. We're now less trailers and less information than even Pokemon Sword and Shield, which was the least amount of information we've had for a new generation game at the time. So I don't know, like, is there going to be a Pokemon Presents for July? Is it just going to be a trailer and some Pokemon reveals? I feel like the details, like, need a direct to kind of say, yeah, instead of max raid battles or some kind of other gimmick that you'd expect from the game, the open world is the gimmick, and we're going to show you how expansive and how crazy that is. And then we can talk about the gyms? Question mark? That kind of weird stuff. Now, the Game Freak surprise factor is so crazy, I don't know how to interpret parts of the map. Like, you look at something like this and you think, oh, those are going to be towns. But what if those are the gym arenas or something? Because we just see a tower that has a battlefield on it, so maybe that could be like the landmarks. And maybe there are no actual towns except for the main starting area, and then there's just going to be kind of like outposts and the little gas station, Pokemon centers and stuff, and other significant landmarks, similar to actually what we saw with the wild areas. They did a couple of little points, and then with the DLC, you had like a central hub area, but then the rest of it was just open area. So that's going to be, like, that's why I'm like, you can't really speculate on any of that, but what makes it interesting are the symbols. What's this? What is that? Legendaries? Are we going to get 4 legendaries like we had with the Tapus, or are there only like 4 gym areas, and then those are going to be like the symbols representing the gym in some kind of way? Now, I would actually be okay with that. Like, instead of having 8 gyms in a linear route, since we have no need to pursue the story, or we can explore however we want, what if it's just kind of like 4 major landmarks representing the gyms? You start wherever, and then you can just kind of tackle that however you want, and that still makes the adventure great because open world. You know, it's not going to be like, oh, there's not 8 gyms. Wow, okay, what? Removing content from the game. No, that's just pure idiocy. Especially if there's like special challenges, or the way the level system works, or just kind of getting out to it is the adventure in itself, and it still kind of ties into the stories, and however the legendary shenanigans end up working with that. So, too many things to speculate on that front, and that's why, again, like, once we get the detail from the map, then I think pretty much everything is going to be known at that point. Now, I feel like there's going to be some crazy revelation once we get the map as well, because we have the whole rally flag themes and the Pokemon centers that look like gas stations, legendary Pokemon turn into motorcycles. I'm wondering if there's actually going to be an identifiable track around the region or something, and then you can kind of see that in the paths, in the trails, and then go, oh, this is just a giant race course. So you can actually see like maybe little ones that have something to do with that, or something more direct about the legendaries and their location, and it's all going to tie together in something just crazy. Now, we do see a lot of mountains. We do see some like kind of crazy stuff with the starting area as well, that got some hills nearby. We have some mountains just directly in the background. So this is going to be nestled somewhere. And again, just kind of like going off the speculation, the map leak, like this grayed out area doesn't tell us exactly how it's going to look, but that does make me wonder, like, is the starting area or like the main town just going to be up here nestled into some mountains, and then the exploration just kind of fans out? That seems like a pretty cool way of just making it say, hey, you can go anywhere. You want to go to the east? Cool. You want to go to the west? Cool. Just want to try to track to the opposite corner of the region? You do that. Like we said, free exploration, open world. But it can also make more sense if it is a centered kind of area, but like just the mountains, the peaks that we see. you can really see there's a strong barrier behind the city. Now you can still have an open world game with inaccessible areas until you do a thing and then unlock it. So either this is like the ultra uber late game, or maybe this is also part of the exploration. You just need to take a really long trail around, or maybe something over here. But kind of like I said, it looks like the game wants you to fan out from the starting area and then choose your adventure in that way from there. And again, even though this is like kind of baity and trappy with being all of this being made up, it does make sense, and it kind of goes in line with some of the other parts of the map and just the general region. Actually, after thinking about the second trailer, it looks like the snowy mountain is accessible from the beginning, because these kids take their starter Pokemon and then they just head out into the open world. And that's also what makes the map break down even crazier. Like, where are these areas hiding in the map? How big, how expansive are they going to be? That's just too much to try to like put every location into a point on the map. But even when trying to think about the limitations, it's almost like there's none. Now, my goal isn't to recreate as much of the map as possible from the scenes we have from the trailers. I feel you can fall into a lot of pitfalls and just have way too much speculation involved with that. I'm trying to figure out what the map represents and why that explains how we don't have a trailer yet, and it's about to be a month since the second trailer as we go into July, and somehow we didn't get a second trailer or major like preview for June. E3 didn't really happen on the Nintendo side, even though every other gaming company had like a big showcase. I don't know, things are pretty crazy, and you do get into some weird stuff when you start breaking down the map like that. Okay, so we have one obvious, pretty much guaranteed thing, and that seems to be it, but we can also see how big the map is. We have the full XY of the map just off of the little bits that we have from the crude map in the trailers, but then you look at this lake and go, wait a second, that's like, this little lake is this much of the map, and we're not seeing like the full lake, but we see most of it, so maybe, you know, something like this, so it's like 80, actually no, not that much, but yeah, it's like 80% of the scene is shown here, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's like a 12th of the map. And that's just like a water area that you can just breeze through pretty quickly. There is some like land and stuff to explore around it. There's a beach back here that's kind of hard to see. It's like a lot of little details like that. And again, that's why I feel that speculating into this too much can lead to maybe the wrong kind of madness. Maybe the perspective is like really skewed, even though it just kind of seems like if I get on a hill, that's exactly what I'm going to see from my character in the game in a non-cinematic way. But maybe it's not completely accurate. It's like 1/20th of the game, and it's actually quite a bit to explore because the perspective inside the game gets kind of crazy, like the wild area that we saw in in the DLC for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So it's actually like, oh, if you use this and you try to expand the map out, the entire region is like Crown Tundra plus Isle of Armor plus the wild area in Sword and Shield. And then that also opens up for like potential DLC, and we don't know what's going on like over here and stuff either. So the exploration is going to be kind of weird, but maybe it's just there's so much freedom that the size actually doesn't matter since you can get lost in any nook and crevice. I don't know. Now, one scene that intrigues me is this one right here, because it kind of sparked my idea that there's going to be a race course visible when we get the detailed map, because we can see development, and of course there's going to be that. We have these modern looking Pokemon centers that are like gas stations. We have roads that kind of crisscross and traverse along the terrain. We have actual buildings and stuff. There's the towers. There's other signs of development. So while we do have this vast exploration, you will find hints and bits of civilization around. And I think that's pretty cool, and I think that's what's going to show us, hey, there could be something linking all of this together that, again, gives away some of the exploration or just the overall theme and the routing and stuff like that. So if we try to consider where this could be, I'm guessing, like, well, not that, I'm guessing, like, over here, that we have this, so we're kind of maybe, like, looking at a view over here. But we do have, like, the hills, so I'm wondering, like, what the geography of this map is and how that represents maybe a bit more, but like, actually, yeah, if we think about like we're coming over this hill and then we go that, maybe what if each of these dots is actually a Pokemon Center? So the Pokemon Center is like your mini town, and it encompasses a large area, and that there's not going to be like 50 of these things just kind of sprinkled about commonly throughout the region. That's a bit more sparse, and it's a major landmark. So maybe we're kind of seeing it to where it comes back through here, It loops around. Here's where the turbines are. There's like a cave over here, and then like, yeah, it just kind of comes through. Actually, if we take this ravine right here, I think it lines up in some kind of way, depending on like how our camera angle is. And then yeah, like the cave down here brings us to the area up there. I don't know, again, like that's where the speculation can get us into a lot of trouble. But also we see a good amount of something going on over here, so maybe it's something like this. I don't know. But yeah, like I think if we can kind of follow the roads, you know, there is going to be some kind of road system that says, there's something going on with how the region is going to be expressed. And that's kind of like the big thing that I'm obsessed with, is how detailed the region is, what that means for the, like, how open it is, and how that is our gimmick. Like, we're going to see so much crazy things we can't even imagine just from getting the map, and then the gameplay details are going to come in and really give us the details on top of that. And I think that's what's going to make it even crazier, where it's like, hey, gyms, here's a rough idea of how an open gym order works, or what this thing is supposed to be, or how all of this kind of ties together, still leaving open some of the mystery about the story or the legendary Pokemon, but going, yeah, you're going to create an epic adventure, and it's going to be pretty cool, because I think you can get into a lot of problems with an open world game, especially with Pokemon, especially after Pokemon Legends and Pokemon Sword and Shield, by leaving too many questions. If they just come out and say, there's this many gems, you can do them in whatever order you want, that's a million sales right there. That is what everyone has wanted about Pokemon. You will offend no one. You will overspoil no one by giving away such details, and then combined with the map. Alright, now some other people are gonna be like, say no more, fam. But I think you need to get the big things out of the way, and then leave the discovery up for the game, even though I still prefer, like, Pokemon Sun and Moon. Just show us as much as possible. I'm excited. I'm going to play the game anyways. I got an insane amount of content out of Pokemon Sun and Moon, even though that was supposed to be the game that spoiled everything. Going into it knowing what we know, like, still didn't even know most about what was in the game, still had a lot to discover, and even the things we already had information about was really cool to experience. Like, just being told something in trailer and then experiencing it for yourself, two different things, to the point where it's actually not really spoiling. And it's still cool to see, like, some of the new Pokemon as leaks came out, or if you weren't exposed to those, just kind of going, hey, there's still a couple things to be seen, and all the Pokemon they revealed so far were pretty good as well. So there we go. I'm excited. A lot of mysteries. I didn't even begin to think about this or the past future stuff and how all of that comes together, but it's mostly like, yeah, the map gonna be significant. That has me hype. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.